behind these rocks, there's an interdimensional portal. And that portal will lead us directly to Bar Novo.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my Flash Season 6, Episode 6 video. There were a whole bunch of Easter eggs. We also have a bunch of Batman and Superman Crisis on Infinite Earths teasers, so I'll break that down during the video, too. If you're new to the channel, we're doing a Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite moment from the episode on the video. Careful for spoilers if you have not seen the episode yet. We'll do top 10 WTF and Easter eggs, then I'll talk about all the Batman-Superman Crisis teasers. Starting with number 10, the title of the episode, License to Elongate, obviously a reference to License to Kill. Lots of James Bond references with the Barry Elongated Man storyline this week. It was a Flash Elongated Man team-up episode for the most part. There was a lot of stuff going on with the other storylines. Not all of them were great, but I do feel like they pushed forward pretty good into Crisis on Infinite Earths because we're only a couple weeks away from that happening. Number 9, Nash Wells explains his plan and why he has to get past that special wall to get to the Monitor. So his whole thing is the Monitor has a portal that will take them directly to the special space where Barry and Oliver talked to him during last year's crossover. Remember when they went to the elevator and it instantly teleported them to his platform in a different part of space-time? That's exactly what's behind this wall. That's why Nash Wells wants to get there so bad. The Eternium-laced rocks apparently have anti-vibrational properties, so there's no way that the Flash can just run right through. The Monitor is probably doing that to keep any speedsters from getting through. Not just the good speedsters like Barry Allen, but also people like Reverse Flash, other evil speedsters. Number 8, Chester P. Runk finishes baking in their oven at Star Labs, and it seems like they're setting him up to maybe replace Cisco on Team Flash, either later this year or after Crisis on Infinite Earths at some point. There were just too many scenes during the episode where he's a super sciencey tech guy. They've already established that. He's super smart. He's really good at engineering things like Cisco does. He does a lot of the same things that Cisco does, and he's super excited at the idea of being on Star Labs when Cecile mentions it at the end of the episode, which I did kind of take issue with a little bit, but just because I don't think Cecile has the authority to offer people membership on Team Flash. She can't just bring in anybody that she wants. Oh, hey, you on the street. Even the other core members of the team, Caitlin and Cisco, haven't willy-nilly just brought somebody else onto the team without Barry doing it himself. I think that's mostly the writers just letting you know that he's definitely going to be joining Team Flash really soon. They wouldn't have spent so much time developing his character through the episode as part of this Cecile storyline, finding out who I'm going to be, working on his comedic timing. He even makes Star Wars references like Cisco when he references I feel kind of like Alderaan on a bad day from Star Wars A New Hope. Everything about his storyline just screams that he is going to replace someone on Team Flash, and who is the other tech guy on Team Flash right now? That's Cisco. So either Cisco winds up retiring and leaving Team Flash, or RIP Cisco during Crisis on Infinite Earths. Everyone post your Cisco predictions on the video though. But number 7, Elongated Man's new emblem as the official new protector of the city, or co-protector with Barry Allen. The way they worked it out in that press conference at the end is that he's also a protector now, not the protector, because Barry thinks he's going to die in a little while. He just wants there to be some seamless transition, like, oh, the city still has a protector, an Elongated Man, if I do go out during this big fight. The emblem itself probably just works like his emblem. They always build tech into it, little communicators, or any special technology for defeating the villain of the week, depending on who it is. Number 6, the Sue Dibny storyline. All the James Bond, Black Hole, and Ultraviolet come back. We learned that the Sue Dibny character, or Sue Dearborn, whatever you want to call her from the comics, has been missing for the past 6 months or so, but she's this former socialite who has a bit of a bad girl reputation, but her disappearance seems somewhat tied to the activities of Black Hole and the Ultraviolet character, so it's all connected. And then he later tells Iris at the end of the episode that the Black Hole emblems showed up with Ultraviolet at the party, so Iris is also on that case too. They've already cast the Sue Dibny character, but I don't know which episode she's going to debut in. It's this actress here, so this is what she's going to look like. The dress that she was last seen in, made by Victoria Vale, is a Batman 1989 Vicky Vale reference. There were a ton of James Bond references, shaken not stirred. There was a whole bunch of Goldfinger later in the episode. Ralph even verbally calls him out on it. Come on, that's a line directly out of Goldfinger. The laser itself is also directly from that scene in Goldfinger where he's trying to kill James Bond. Number 5, the Nash Wells Allegra team-up. So they kind of have a funny introduction. She doesn't know anything about the multiverse or doppelgangers. Aren't you supposed to be Harrison Wells? Didn't you die? There were a lot of funny moments during their storyline, but the real WTF was him just sort of giving away the farm to her willy-nilly, like telling her Barry Allen is the Flash. Wait a minute, you're telling me that my boss's husband is the Flash? So another person now knows his secret identity. But he also lays so much knowledge on her so fast about the Monitor, about Crisis on Infinite Earths, so it sounds like they intend for this Allegra character to be way, way bigger this season, but I'm assuming that she'll probably wind up being involved with taking down the Ultraviolet character for good. Like, she'll learn about her powers, then eventually the two of them will face off. So instead of the Flash ultimately beating Ultraviolet when they start getting into the Black Hole storyline later this season, it'll be the Allegra character to do it. Also, big WTF when they make the Mythbusters reference about Nash Wells taking down the Monitor, busting Miz. He also implies that he's going to try and kill the Monitor. This just seems like it's all setting him on the path to become the pariah character. It does seem for now like he might wind up turning into comic book pariah, and that'll be his penance for what he's trying to do to the Monitor. Number 4 WTF was all the Chester P. Runk, Cyrano de Bergerac stuff with the coffee. They tried to turn it into this big funny moment with Cecile, speaking into his ear, telling him what to think. Apparently Cecile can now use her ability through the telephone. I don't think that was a thing before, it shouldn't work that way, but it didn't work during the episode, so it kind of makes sense that it didn't work. But again, this was all, I think, just part of the idea of you developing that character and setting up the idea that it wouldn't be weird if he showed up on Team Flash in the future. I just didn't like the way they handled that storyline, and they try to get you really invested in what's going on with Cecile's character, and this part of the episode only really works if you really, really care what happens to Cecile. And she's not really even that big of a member of Team Flash, so it is kind of strange. Number 3 was the big Ring of Fire satellite that they were auctioning off. They were blowing up half of Central City just to demo it for all the people that were bidding on it, but it's also a reference to the Brother Eye satellite from the comics because they call it EYE, as in Brother Eye, which is also tied to the Identity Crisis storyline and Infinite Crisis, which kind of gets into Sue Dibny crossover, but they're not doing the direct Identity Crisis storyline. That's just something that happened in the comics before Infinite Crisis. And obviously Infinite Crisis is a completely separate storyline from Crisis on Infinite Earths, but the TV version of Crisis will combine a whole bunch of different storylines. But number 2, they go full Mortal Kombat on stage with Barry versus their version of Mylena in Ultraviolet. That's the reference that they're making. Oh, I love Mortal Kombat. Finish him. He also makes a Price is Right reference when he's pretending to be drunk, bidding on the weapon to just draw things out longer and longer. The woman in red, too, kind of nods to them and then walks away, making it seem like she might become a bigger character later this season as part of the Black Hole storyline with the Ultraviolet character. Remember, the Black Hole organization is really big in the Flash Rebirth comics. It goes way bigger. There's a couple other big speedster characters tied to it, so it just seems like they're setting them up for the back half of the season. It's too soon for them to debut right before the crossover. Then number 1 WTF was the post-credit scene with Ramsey Rosa going full blood work on Ralph, dragging him over the balcony, and the whole idea that they seem like they're implying negative Flash either in next week's episode or the episode after that. The actual description for the mid-season finale before the big crossover episode really does sound like full negative Flash, so either it's happening next week or the week after that. But just keep your eyes peeled. If you're a big fan of the negative Flash from the Flash Rebirth comics, they'll do a version of that with Barry Allen. But getting into all the Crisis on Infinite Earths teasers they dropped this morning, we got our first look at Tom Welling as Smallville Superman during the crossover, wearing the classic flannel, wielding an axe, seeming like he's just chopping wood on his version of the Kent farm on Smallville's Earth, whichever designation they're going to give that in the multiverse. There's a couple pictures of Tyler Hoechlin's Superman with Lois Lane and Iris West, so it seems like Iris travels around to a couple different places picking up these people. She also might be one of the people to travel to Kingdom Come Superman's Earth. The newspaper behind him here, too, is also an Easter egg for Kingdom Come Superman's origin story of sorts, how he goes from being regular Superman to Kingdom Come post-apocalyptic Superman. The origin story itself is borrowed directly from the Kingdom Come comic book story, so they have Mark Waid's name on it. He's the person that wrote this article within the world of the show, but Mark Waid in real life also wrote the Kingdom Come comic book. The story is all about the Joker gas bombing the Daily Planet, killing a bunch of people, including Lois Lane, and that leads Superman to become super depressed and going into isolation, eventually adopting the new, darker version of his uniform to honor the people that had fallen, and then coming back out of isolation as part of the big Kingdom Come event. So it sounds like that's why he's wearing this version of the costume instead of his classic Superman costume, because Brandon Routh is playing his version of Superman from Superman Returns, but one of the showrunners, Mark Guggenheim, also confirmed this canonical reference to that his version of Superman is also meant to be the same version of Superman as Christopher Reeves, so it's basically saying that Christopher Reeves' Superman eventually becomes Kingdom Come Superman. The Batman teaser actually looks like it's Kevin Conroy doing his version of Batman, but it's also a bit of a Kingdom Come reference because he's wearing that special harness exoskeleton around him. So I'm kind of expecting him to be an amalgam of a couple different versions of Batman, but I don't know if he also comes from this Earth where Brandon Routh's Superman is coming from. There'll be more Crisis on Infinite Earths trailer and teaser videos in the next week or two, so of course I'll do videos for all that stuff. There were more Crisis teasers. I'll talk about those during my Flash trailer video tomorrow. So as long as you've turned alerts on for my channel, you'll see those videos when I post them. Everybody click here for my brand new Rick and Morty Season 4 Episode 3 trailer video, and click here for the brand new Star Wars The Mandalorian Episode 2 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.